Hi, this is Pete O'Connell, and in this tutorial I'm going to be explaining a few of the techniques that I use to rotoscope in After Effects. So I've got some footage here of a van driving down the street, and the first thing I'm going to do is keyframe its position on a few keyframes, and then later on we're going to invert this position keyframing on our mask so that it follows the unpositioned keyframed footage. Now make a new solid on top, turn its visibility off, and lock the layer that has the footage. Set it to half resolution so that all of our frames will load into the RAM preview. By loading it into the RAM preview, I'm going to be able to scrub pretty fast and see. We're going to start off by making just a simple 4-point mask on a few keyframes that basically follows the movement of the car, and we're going to add extra points onto the mask once we've made our initial 4-point mask. Choose the gray solid, make a few points here. Made my first roto shape for this keyframe here, which actually isn't one of the ones underneath here, but from now on I'm going to just stick to the keyframes I made here for position. Solid layer so I can see my mask moving. And now I'm going to start adding points. So here I need a point for the front of the car. Okay, I think it's time to have a look at this in motion. I'm going to hit spacebar, and now I can actually see my mask moving along. Only move the new point on the keyframes that I've already created. You want to keep this as sparse as possible in terms of keyframes. I'm going to do an expansion on this mask so it doesn't have to be perfect. I think that's just about good enough. We've got a mask and we've got a keyframed van. I'm going to bring my footage back in that has no position keyframes on it. I'm going to make an expression between the anchor point of the solid and the position of the keyframed footage. And so what I end up with is the mask moving along with the van. If I turn that off, this is what my mask actually looks like without any motion keyframes on it. But now, since I have an expression between the anchor point and the position of the keyframed van, I'm actually inverting the position keyframe that I put on here, and that makes it match up. And you can use this technique also if you're going to use the motion tracker. You can invert it in the same way. If you want to rotoscope a person's head or something and you track their eye, you can use this technique of inverting the anchor point versus the position. Now we've got the roto mask properly over the van, we're going to set this to alpha matte. I'm going to feather the mask out quite a bit, let's say 20 pixels, and make an expansion of about 10. We've got this comp ready to go. I've got my clean plate, which is a shot of the same scene from exactly the same angle, which has no cars in it, and I'm just going to pull my van comp on top of this to frame 1. So I've got a van, I've got a clean plate, and they should pretty much match up. So what I'm going to do is make some copies of my van comp and offset it in time like this. So maybe I'll put this at half res so I can get a bit quicker update. Don't have to be perfectly distributed. A little bit of variation might sell it a little better. There we go. I've got a big caravan of these vans going along the street. So in not too much time we were able to create a reasonably photorealistic comp of a bunch of the same van driving by on the street using rotoscoping in After Effects.